What is going on, my fellow investors? Welcome back to Everything Finance, where we talk about everything money related, including the stock and cryptocurrency market, as well as just some basic money managing skills. So, back at you today with another daily market update. And this is an interesting one I've done a little bit more research this morning, and I have started to understand why we actually saw that wicked sell off yesterday. The first reason being one that I did mention in yesterday's video. The Federal Reserve, during the Fed minutes, they talked about starting to tighten monetary policy to sort of try and get ahead of inflation. And this just scared the crap out of investors. We saw massive drawdowns in the S&P, the Dow, and the Nasdaq. Like, I know the Nasdaq was down something like 3% yesterday. And if the stock market is tanking 2 to 3% on any given day, odds are the crypto market is probably down about double that, because that is just the nature of crypto. It is much more volatile. Um, so that was the first reason we kind of saw this brutal sell off yesterday. And the second reason that we saw was actually this thing going on in Kazakhstan right now. So Kazakhstan shuts down banks and internet amid unrest, and this threatens the Bitcoin mining industry in Kazakhstan and their hash rate. Okay, so essentially, the government restricted access to the internet and closed down local banks. And fears are rising that turmoil may spark another major migration of miners now that some are already leaving the country, which also faces power shortages. And you can see there are protests going on in the streets, Russia sending in troops to help. And this is one of the reasons that we saw this sell off yesterday, as these articles were popping up everywhere overnight, spreading FUD that this will have a massive impact on Bitcoin mining. And listen, Kazakhstan is actually the third largest Bitcoin miner in the world, by country. And you know what? So obviously it would pose a threat, technically speaking, maybe in the short term, that if the internet was shut down, that the mining rate would go down. But guys, like, the demand for Bitcoin is so high that if Kazakhstan decides to fall off of Bitcoin mining, the same way China has slowly been creeping away from Bitcoin mining, other countries are just going to step in and take that hash rate. So to me, this is kind of like, I understand why it spreads some fear, but to me, this is kind of like non-news in terms of the crypto market. Anyways, what's going on in Kazakhstan is very, very serious, just on like a moral level of just being a human being. But in terms of Bitcoin, I actually don't see it as a huge threat to crypto. But anyways, we can take a look at the distribution of Bitcoin mining hash rate from 2019 to April 2020, and you can see that Kazakhstan is in third place the whole way, okay? And we actually see Kazakhstan aggressively increasing majority of the way up. In 2019, they were at about 1.42%, and currently in 2021, they are 8.19%. And the other thing I wanted to look at is China here, right? So you can see that here, look, in 2019, China accounted for 75.5% of the Bitcoin mining hash rate. And now in 2021, we are down to 46.4%, okay? And even over the past year, not even year, okay, let's say from January 2021, we're at 53.3%, and we're at 46.04% in China, and that just has to do with China cracking down more on Bitcoin miners, and so obviously they are leaving and going elsewhere. And to be honest, the point that I'm trying to make here is that if the same thing did happen with Kazakhstan, I think that the same thing would happen, that these Bitcoin miners will just migrate elsewhere. And it literally says in the article that they're leaving. Some are already leaving the country, some of the miners. So yeah, that was the other piece of news that kind of sent the market downwards yesterday. And one other thing I wanted to look at, we'll talk about Mana first. So the reason Mana is pumping is it says Samsung dives deeper into metaverse using Decentraland capabilities. Okay, so basically Samsung announced that they now have Samsung 837X. It is an experiential playground for people to discover the amazing possibilities when technology and culture collide, okay? And they built this on Decentraland, one of the leading virtual reality platforms, which is powered by the Ethereum blockchain. So it'll be open in Decentraland for a limited period. And I mean, this was just kind of a piece of news that sent Mana up. as you can see some bigger companies taking interest in their piece of the metaverse. So that was Mana, and really, guys. So the last thing I want to look at here is actually mega bullish just for crypto and Bitcoin in general. Okay, um, so you can see this is the fear and greed index. Okay, we're at 15 right now, and um, guys, I keep saying it like when you see the market down like this, you want to see extreme fear because the fear obviously fluctuates with the price movement, right? So as things are going down, people become fearful. And then as things start going up, people become less fearful. People become greedy. And then this little scale there on the left, this little thermometer, whatever you want to call it, it starts to tick into the green as the greed and the euphoria gets out of control. Okay. So right now we are chilling in extreme fear. Like sentiment is really really low. We're at lows that date back to like July of 2021, and guys, that's when Bitcoin was around like 30K. Okay, so here's something I just wanted to mention to you guys. So you see here even that we were at 14 on the fear and greed index before we came back up. But here specifically I want to talk about, guys. So the 21st of July 2021, we hit a 10 on the fear and greed index. Okay, and if we go back to the 21st of July 2021, yeah, see, I knew where the candle was because, guys, off of this 10 on the fear and greed index, we then rallied all the way up to about a 78 to 79 on the greed index. Okay, and that also correlated with the price movement. And when was this? When was this 79 that we hit? September 6th, 2021. Yeah, so that was okay. That was right around here. That makes sense. But the point I'm trying to make is that, guys, off of that 10 on the fear and greed index that we saw, we actually saw Bitcoin rally something like September 6th. Yeah, something like 71% off of the lows. Okay, so we are slowly creeping back down to that 10 level again. Maybe one more piece of FUD or news would send us down to this 10. And if we hit this 10 again, I do like the odds of seeing a sharp reversal. But honestly, even the fear territory that we're in right now, guys, this may sound really weird, but I love that we are sitting in this level of fear. It shows you that people are fearful. And again, if you are a long-term believer in crypto, this is when you want to be accumulating. Not up here when Bitcoin's, capping out at 69K and everyone is greedy. You want to be greedy down here when everyone is scared. And we are coming back down to a very, very interesting level on the 1 year of the crypto fear and greed index. Okay, so moving over to some charts real quickly. We're not going to look at all the coins today, but we're going to look at a few in specific that I wanted to shout out that have really played off of the lines we mentioned yesterday. So in yesterday's video, if anyone was paying attention, I did say look for a bounce off of roughly the 42.5K mark for Bitcoin. That was a very strong level of support for Bitcoin. It was resistance over here, and on that crazy flash crash we had in early December, we actually wicked all the way down to 42K before we rallied back up to almost 49.50. So this was looking like a very strong area of support. And once again, if you look at the low in the last 24 hours, it was 42,414. So Bitcoin actually bounced, give or take $100 perfectly off of this trend line. And we're actually still we're testing this downtrending channel right now that I drew in here. I would like to see if we break above it. If we don't, guys, the next level we're looking for is 40K flat, and then anything below that we're looking at about 37.5. And if we break that, we're probably looking at the mid to low 30,000 range. The next one I want to look at, so Ethereum actually wicked below our support, and it's just chilling above it right now. However, Ethereum is still quite far off the downtrend line, and I honestly could see some more weakness for Ethereum. Don't hold me to it, but at these lower prices, I mean, I like it, but I could also definitely see if we get one more piece of FUD that sends this market downwards, we could see Ethereum at 3K American again, as crazy as that sounds. But it really doesn't sound that crazy at all, guys. I mean, we were only there in October, right? Like it, or okay, maybe not October, but yeah, in September we were there. Like it wasn't that long ago that we were at this 3,000 level. Um, and Crow is another one. It is a fan favorite of mine, and we actually did also bounce almost perfectly off of the support line I had at the 48 cent mark, and we are now back above the 50 cent level. I like Crow anywhere in this area, and I do think that, while 50 cents hasn't exactly shown to be, let's get the 6 month, 50 cents hasn't proven to be a crazy strong area of support yet. Actually, you know what? No, it hasn't. That's 51 cents. The only thing I would say about Crow is that 50 cents is much more of like a mental support and resistance, and that's something you'll kind of see like in stocks and crypto over a long time, is that even numbers, round numbers, they do tend to act as some sort of like mental support and resistance. Like that's why there's so much focus on Bitcoin 50K versus Bitcoin 100K, because people like to see those round numbers, okay? So I could definitely see this like 48 cent to 53 cent acting as like a magnet area for Crow, and it just hovers around that 50 cent mark. And the last one we're going to take a look at quickly is Gala, because Gala also, actually, this one took us for a little scare. It actually did break our trend. It broke to about 34 cents, but then it sharply reversed back up above that 36.5 cent level that we had talked about previously. And right now we're sitting at 38 cents. Potential catalyst for Gala could be if we start seeing metaverse hype start to come back into the market. Gala would take off with these metaverse coins, most likely. But besides that, guys, I mean, again, we're just dancing in this range right now, and I'll be curious to see what news we get that sends this market either up or down next. But you know that I will be here to give it all to you guys, all the news, everything that's going on in the market. And for anyone that's watching, I do appreciate you tuning in. I finally had some people commenting on a video. It was nice to interact with some people. So I would love to hear from more people, maybe like stuff you want to hear. And guys, the truth is, this channel is so tiny at this point that if you requested a video, odds are I would make it for you. But if you guys do enjoy the content, I mean, maybe consider telling your friends or family. Uh, and besides that, just stay tuned for more, guys. But I appreciate everyone that's watching. Peace out.